Insurance is a risk management tool. It protects us from flood, fire, malpractice, disability. We could pay dentists more while patients pay less if we reduce the third party portion by 90%. Dental implants are very expensive. And
I'd like to welcome to the Wealthy Dentist podcast a dentist that has been in he's no longer practicing, but he is teaching classes like ethics and things of that nature to dentists, and I should say students. Then now he has a company that he spearheaded, him and himself and a computer engineer that has put together this program called Paydent, and it's an insurance app that you can get involved with as a dentist and have your patients to actually, I guess, put money aside for future treatment. Help me in introducing, or help me with welcoming Dr. Kevin Patterson. Doc, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. How are you doing today?
all good. Happy to
Great,
be here.
great. You know what? As I always mention to most of my guests that come in, one of the things that I ask is, what got you involved with dentistry in the first place?
Um, I've wanted to be a dentist since I was a little kid. My Little League baseball coach was my dentist, and he was also my dentist. And I always liked him a lot. He was somebody that I admired. I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania, and professionals are looked up to in my hometown. Um, in high school, I was kind of thinking physical therapy, but then I ended up getting involved in a research project at University of Pittsburgh's dental school, and that's where I did undergrad. And uh, when I saw the dental students and stuff, I thought, yeah, I wanted to do this earlier, and it kind of came back to me like I could do this. And that research project kind of reignited my idea of going to dental school, and then I just pursued it from there.
Yeah. So how long did you practice? I know you said you sold your practice in 2019, I believe.
Right, right. I still consider myself a dentist. I'm teaching full time at a dental school. I graduated in 1986 from Northwestern's dental school, and they're planning my 40th dental school class reunion that's coming up. Uh,
Awesome. Awesome. So you pivot back in 2019, and you started a company called Payden. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
yeah, Payment developed as out of my frustration in dealing with dental insurance. As a practicing dentist, I had a large practice, associate dentist, hygienist working for me. And I don't remember what the exact issue was, but there was a day one time where I just had it. And, uh, you know, I, uh, I grew up with, I'm the oldest son. My dad was a guy who could fix anything. And he's deceased now, but I heard his voice in my head say, why don't you just fix that? And I started seriously thinking about it, like what's wrong with it? How could it be better? And you know, I started drawing charts and diagrams and just obsessing over it, staring at my bedroom ceiling. And,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, you know, the,
yeah.
the thing is, um, insurance is a risk management tool. It protects us from flood, fire, malpractice, disability, rare events where the risk is of something that's catastrophic is shared across the population. But everyone needs regular dental care, and the limits on dental insurance are too low to cover catastrophes. What we're doing is we're using a risk management tool to pay for an uninsurable event, which is regular dental care.
Mm.
And it exists or it persists because there isn't really an alternative. And so I started imagining what would an alternative look like. And if you take the idea that the patient earned their dental benefit, and if you just let the patient spend the dental benefit money that they earned on whatever they and their dentist agree on, then every claim becomes a yes. And if every claim is a yes, you don't need an insurance company to process a series of yes claims. You can do that with cloud-based computers in your phone.
Mm.
And so really the dental insurance company exists to tell you no.
Mm.
And why are we spending a large percentage of the potential treatment money to fund people who tell us no? So I was at a family barbecue, and a computer engineer who's in our family was flipping burgers, and I said, Steve, what do you think about this? And I outlined my ideas for an app that was an alternative to dental insurance. And he's standing there, and he's a real bright guy, and he said, I like it, I like it. And even though he was 60 years old, he was doing his MBA at the University of Illinois. And he said, I'm going to take it to the business school and see what they think. And they wrung the idea out in 4 separate classes at the business school, and in a way that a graduate school of business would. And they liked it in all 4 of the classes. One business school professor said that might be the best idea for a new business that I've ever heard. Rather than using, you know, when people get dental insurance, they have generally a combination of employer and employee money that's going into purchase insurance each month. And the idea of PayDent is that instead of using this monthly contribution or monthly allowance to purchase dental insurance, you're just going to put it into a PayDent account, which is a debit account. Um, it We set an in-network price that beat Premier dental plans, the most common Premier dental plan.
Wow.
Uh, and what we found is that we could pay dentists more while patients pay less if we reduce the third party portion by 90%. There's a sweet spot there where you can pay dentists better than a Premier in-network dental plan while the patient pays less in total care. I produced a, a PowerPoint that compared the AARP's dental plan on a 5-year treatment plan, in which there was exams and X-rays and full mouth series of pictures and cleanings that you would get, and the PayDent app was paid the dentist 47% more than the AARP plan, while at the same time the patient paid 25% less in total cost because we reduced the third-party portion by 89.73%. When the business school gave us all this positive feedback, Steve and I each put $100,000 together, and we hired a company called SimPalm to write the code for the app, and we built a prototype. We've tested it. We had friends that were dentists test it. Just a basic prototype. Um, you know, and we processed somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 worth of claims. I really think that this is the answer to our problems with dental insurance. We've been on this trying to regulate dental insurance companies, trying to legislate rules for them to abide by, and it's been going on for a long time, and it hasn't really moved the needle as far as dentists go. The things are as bad now as it's ever been, and so you know, the thing is, we did have a cyber attack, and our app was there were only 6 dentists using it at the time. No one lost any money. My partner shut it down. And we've been looking for funding since then to try to get this thing off the ground. You know, Organized dentistry hasn't been real helpful. They've, I mean, they have their agenda and their method. They have the ADA has their Washington office, and they take things that perspective, and and lots of smart people at the ADA, lots of smart people in organized dentistry, but they have their way of approaching the problem, and but I think it's time for a different approach to the problem, and I think there's if dentists think that dental insurance is really bad. And if it's as bad as we all think it is, then there's an opportunity to create something better. It's happened in a lot of other industries. And I think using modern technology to create a new and better dental plan is the avenue that we should be exploring.
No doubt. I mean, like, yes, technology does allow you to come up with your thoughts and put them down and get them down a lot quicker than we had a couple years ago, even. So yes, I'm in total agreement. Now, just to back up a little, a little bit, you did mention, I said something like Soul Palm.
Simpalm is the company. Simpalm is a company that does the computer coding, and they're the ones that wrote the code for the prototype.
Okay, and why did you choose them?
That was something that it was a company that Steve had experience working with.
Okay.
He was the one who designed it, how it works. The way that it works is that when a dentist or a patient goes to the dentist, um, when treatment is done, there's no co-payment, there's no deductible. Your bill is paid 100%. Uh, Paydent is built around a 95% medical loss ratio, which means 95% of the money that you put in goes to dental treatment, versus on average about 61% with dental insurance. That's a 56% increase in the amount of money available for treatment. But um, the way that it works is that the dentist will do the work. The patient opens up their app. The dentist puts the codes in for the work that they did. The patient signs their name that the work is done. The patient's account is debited and the dentist's account is credited.
Okay.
Um, you know, in and commonly in dental plans, if there's $100 a month contribution going in for a dental plan, meaning say $40 from an employer and maybe $60, $20 per pay period or $30 per pay period from an employee. You're getting 80 or $100 a month. You have somewhere around $1,000 or $1,200 a year going into your dental plan. Instead of using that money to buy insurance, you're just putting that money into a paid-in account, which you can use for any treatment that you and your dentist agree on. If you don't go to the dentist that year, you don't lose any of your money. Whereas if you use the money to buy dental insurance, you lose all of the money. If you only get your teeth cleaned that year and you only use half of the money, the other half is still there and can accumulate over time. If over the course of your career, you accumulate five or $10,000 in your paid-in account, when you leave your job, that money is still there to take care of your teeth. Whereas if you buy dental insurance with your money every month and then you leave your job, your benefit ends and there isn't anything else. So, I mean, with Paydent, it treats the money as your money. If you die and there's $5,000 left in your Paydent account, your family can close the account and recover 95% of the money. Whereas if you have purchased dental insurance, that money is just gone. Um,
Kind of like car insurance, the regular insurance that people are accustomed to, but the insurance you have is
well,
totally
car
different.
insurance makes sense because car accidents are an insurable event. That's
Right.
something that's rare, it's unpredictable, it's a risk that needs to be
Right.
covered.
Exactly.
But the thing is, the risk that you're going to need to go see a dentist in the next year is 100%, and you can't insure for those things. It doesn't make a lot of sense to purchase insurance to pay for regular dental care and lose 40% of your money to the overhead of insurance companies.
Hmm.
And it creates all of this hoops that dentists have to jump through to get insurance companies to pay because it's an adversarial relationship where one side is competing to try to keep the money with Paydent, what you're doing is you're budgeting for dental care rather than insuring for dental care or financing dental care. It's basically a Christmas club for the dentist that you're putting money away each month One person that I talked to about it said it's kind of like a prepaid Starbucks card where you're, instead of putting the money to buy insurance, you're putting into this prepaid fund where when you go to the dentist, you have money. And it also makes sense, I think, for senior citizens, for people without insurance, people without insurance, the expense of dentistry, what they're left with is going to the dentist and putting it on a credit card and then paying credit card interest rates on top of the fee. With PayDent, if you see an in-network dentist, you'll get a group negotiated discount. It's not as big of a discount as you're going to get with a PPO. As a dentist, I don't want to create plans that have rock bottom fees because you can't do high quality work for the lowest possible price. You know, the thing is, it is possible to give patients a modest discount, and this serves as a marketing tool for the dentist. And also, in regular dental insurance fees, the cost of processing claims is built into the fee. And in PayDent, the claims processing is so much easier because you never have to submit narratives. Don't have to submit x-rays and pre-estimates and things like that. If the patient wants to work, they earn the benefit and they can have it. We've started working on the 2.0 version of PayDent. And what we want is to develop a way that the codes can be explained using AI to the patients. If a patient comes home and said, "What did I get done?" or "What is the dentist proposing to do?" They can put the codes into the app, and then there are already definitions that are in printed material and stuff that can describe the codes and tell them what. And this could be done in an interactive way. We also feel that AI could be used because data is generated when dentists make a claim. With the data that's generated, we could monitor the dentist in the sense of, as an advocate for the patient. If a dentist is doing things like upcoding or unbundling procedures, something like that, those things could be monitored, with PayDent.
Yeah, that was my next question. What about compliance? How is that going to work?
I mean, I think that, patients have an incentive with PayDent to be an engaged consumer because they don't lose the benefit money at the end of the year. I mean, maybe I want to save that money up for braces or for an implant or something like that. There's no real path to do that when you have a $1,500 a year dental plan and you lose your money every year.
That's right.
Braces cost $6,000 or more. I mean, dental implants are very expensive, and there isn't a path for that. So I see, I think we can do a lot better than dental insurance. And I see this as a way for dentists to regain control of our profession. It's a way of empowering patients and engaging patients. And it opens up much more of the treatment that is available, because for many patients, what the insurance covers is all that they can afford to do. And a lot of times dental insurance is like, "Oh, that's not a covered procedure," or "That's not a covered procedure," or there's service limitations where, I think denture patients get the short end of the stick because they're not coming in and getting cleanings, and they're not getting regular x-rays and things like that. They're not getting fluoride treatments. And then when 5 years rolls around and they're allowed new dentures, they're only covered at 50%. So, but with pay, and then, if you lose your dentures or your dog chews them up or something like that happens, and it's not 5 years, the insurance doesn't cover a new set, even though they're collecting premiums every month. But with PayDent, if your dog chews up your denture and there's money in your PayDent account, you can get a new set, and it's not subject to some 5-year limitation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, just correct me if I'm wrong. Patent is like, are you actually, is it active now?
No, I
Okay.
mean, we closed it down after the
Yeah.
cyber attack. And
Okay.
for us to move forward, like I say, Steve and I've spent a lot of money on it. And And we put in thousands of hours developing this. It's a sophisticated thing. I could send you more information on it, but
That's great.
it's something that you know, we have to have help with. It's two of us as individuals cannot take on the dental insurance industry.
That's true.
I've thought about how do we fund this, and I mean, we don't. I'm cautious about private equity or venture capital getting involved in it because uh, I don't want to create something that's going to try to wring as much profit out of it as possible, where we're creating this adversary of the dental professionals. I don't know. Maybe there's a way that it would be crowdfunded by dentists, where dentists would own the dental plan as well as, uh, being participants in the dental plan. You know, if it's that is a way for us to engage dentists and for us to address the challenge of dental insurance is if dentists own the alternative to dental insurance. Like I say, I don't know if there's interest in that. And, um, I've talked to some other people that I've met through LinkedIn. I know there's interest in this, and I believe that there is a path to success. We've created a better dental plan, more, more autonomy for patients, where, they have more of a say in what's done and how their benefit is used. Um, it's created a system that's more fair because, say, for example, if you work for a Fortune 500 company, they have a lot of leverage with insurance companies and they can negotiate better rates. If you're an individual that's self-employed and you go to buy a dental plan, those plans only pay on average about 54% you're paying $1 for 54 cents worth of treatment on average, because you don't have the leverage of a large company. But Payden is 95% for everybody. You don't have to work for a big company to get a plan that, it has low overhead because what it's doing is replacing the buildings and people of an insurance company with cloud-based computers in your phone. And it's saying, you decide what's covered or how, what you're going to have done. I mean, you and your dentist have to agree on it, but PayDent doesn't interfere. It doesn't care. It doesn't keep the unused money. It will make money on money that sits in patients' accounts. Patients have asked, are we going to get interest on that? That kind of depends on what rates are. At the time that we designed interest rates and savings accounts were really, really low at 1 or 2%. And, I mean, we're operating a dental plan on a very thin margin. We can't have giant marketing budgets and television commercials and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of see the marketing aspect of it as going from is a dentist telling their patient, uh, you know, maybe there can be a packet or something that a patient takes their employer, because when claims are rejected, when there's high copays and deductibles and patients are upset about it, they get angry at the dentist. But what the dentist could do is tell the person, look, you need to talk to your employer. I'm ready to drop your insurance, and I don't want to drop you as a patient. For an employer, it's not a real big ask, I don't think. I mean, you're just saying, instead of putting the money in this bucket, put it in this bucket every month. It doesn't cost them any more. The total market for dental insurance in the United States is about $100 billion a year. And if you replaced the current model, which is about a 61% medical loss ratio with a 95% medical loss ratio, you get somewhere around $30 billion a year more for dental treatment without patients or employers paying any more money. That's the efficiency gain that you get in the dental plan.
I
Uh,
love that.
I mean, that's annually, which is an enormous number.
It
And,
is.
it's like, if we're looking for like, how can we make dentistry more affordable? Um, Replacing dental insurance companies with cloud-based computers in your phone is one way. There's a lot of found money in that.
So So the only hoop that you have to deal with right now is getting the funding.
We got to get funding. And that's why I'm talking to you. I mean,
Yeah,
people are unaware that a dentist and a computer engineer have built an alternative to dental insurance. And it doesn't compete against the patient and the dentist over the money in the way that dental insurance does.
hmm,
Uh, I mean, uh, when insurance companies don't pay claims, they keep the money and they consider paying a claim a loss. And you're handing your money every month to a company that has a big incentive to try to keep it. If you don't go to the dentist, you lose all of it.
right.
And like I say, I think it persists because nobody's come up with an alternative. And as a dentist, I don't think that any business person is ever going to create something that's easier and better for us. Uh, it's only going to come from a dentist. If we want something that's easier to process, that doesn't fight with us, that solves our problems, we need to be part of the solution. And it is one of the things that brings about the challenge. Any business people that are into trying to figure out how are we going to, they're trying to weasel in on dentistry and get as much profit and much money out of us as they can. But what we're really trying to do with PayDent is create a dental plan that has much more utility, that actually helps people afford dentistry and creates a path for employers to help patients afford dentistry in a way that makes financial sense. Uh,
So how often do you get an opportunity to actually get out and speak to
I've talked to I've
staff
talked
and
to a couple
employees?
of branches in the Chicago Dental Society. It was hugely received. I spoke to about 70 dentists at the West Suburban branch of Chicago Dental Society. But like I say, organized dentistry looks at it like, you know, pay us for this, pay us for advertising your thing. And I mean, it's a frustration for me because it's a problem that they're addressing. I see it as any problem that is a problem for dentists is also their problem.
Absolutely.
But they have their approach and their way they want to do it. I think in some ways it's hard for them to swallow because I'm showing up and saying, you know what, you've been taking the whole wrong approach to this problem, and you need to think about doing it this way. That's hard. That's hard to swallow, I think. But I think that the ADA's own statistics show 14 years of declining incomes for dentists, and I think that we need to be considering all possible options. And some outside of the box thinking is in order, and that's what Payden is. It's taking a completely different approach to it.
Yeah, and this is the time to do it because, quite frankly, we have the technology to do what you're asking.
It's happened in many other businesses. I mean, I've told people, I said, do you remember the yellow pages? Do you remember encyclopedias? Do you remember long distance phone bills and
Right.
all kinds of other things?
No
And
more.
those businesses are gone. And
Okay.
I see an opportunity where we think about dental insurance and we talk about dental insurance in the past tense.
Mhm.
And I see a future where we have a technological solution to that problem. It allows employers to help their employees with care. It operates at a very low overhead, a small footprint. And I mean, if you're going to create a business that helps someone, it doesn't really have a product. What its product is it helps you afford someone else's product, which is dentistry. And, it's a facilitator. And if you're going to create that sort of business, intuitively, it has to have a very small footprint, in terms of overhead, because if it exists to help you afford something else, it can't be taking a big piece of the pie.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that
Tell me
equates.
where I'm wrong.
Right. No, no. No. So tell me about the 5%. Where does it go? Does it go to help
Well, it's
patients
not
continue?
free to
Yeah,
operate this thing. I
yeah,
mean, the app runs on Amazon Web Services. It's three different cloud-based computers, Stripe. I can't
yeah,
remember the other, but it's like, and that's all stuff that Steve could answer if you wanted
yeah.
to.
They all charge.
Yeah, but no, it's not free to operate the business. There will be a, some customer service aspect of the business. I mean, but like as I've imagined this, I believe, dentists, if we want a plan with a small footprint, where it's not competing against us for the money because we want to use the money for treatment, not for the dental plan. Well, that's where I see the dentist as the marketing. They're going to tell the patient, this, I hate your dental insurance. You hate your dental insurance. This is an alternative. Tell your employer about this. Um, the first line of customer service that I see is the front desk in the at the dental office. Explaining questions to patients. Like I say, we cannot, when we operate on a 5% margin, we can't, have huge banks of employees handling customer calls.
That's true.
This has to be, and that's where, like I say, I see this as a way for dentists to engage and for us to take back our profession. To not have dental plans dictating to us what's covered, what can be done, how much we can charge, this, that. I mean, I don't see us disrupting dental insurance unless we have an in-network price. But there is a sweet spot where we can pay the dentist considerably more while patients pay considerably less if we reduce the dental insurance company to cloud-based computers in your phone. There is a way, say you're established dentist, you're not in any plans, and patient wants to come to you and use Paydent. That's possible. The way that it works is the plan is going to pay you the in-network price, which is about 80% of ADA national average when ADA did publish a survey of dental fees, which they recently stopped doing. But there's other ways to determine the national average. It's going to pay you more than the premier dental prices, and then you would charge a copay for the difference. You wouldn't be listed as an in-network provider. The app's not going to direct patients to you. So you're not getting the marketing aspect of it, but it's still way better than dental insurance because you're going to get paid right away. It's going to be 80% upfront. You're going to know right away what you're going to get paid. There's not going to be any question if it's going to be covered or not covered. There's no narrative, there's no x-rays, there's no perio charting to submit or anything like that. The only copay to collect is the difference between what Paydet pays and what your fee is.
That marketing aspect for the regular dentist program is pretty expensive, if I may add.
I mean, like I say, we don't want to reinvent dental insurance.
Right.
We want to keep the footprint really small. And
Yeah.
like I say, if we're going to achieve that, like I say, I see this as a way for, as a dentist, I was so frustrated with dental insurance, I dreamed this up. And I know there's a lot of other really frustrated dentists looking for a way to respond other than, the ADA saying, pay your dues, pay your dues, pay your dues. It's like, how, that's not working. What can I as an individual do? How can I respond? Well, drop dental insurance. Not everybody can do that.
That's it.
Some markets that you're in are heavily dependent on dental insurance. And, uh, you know, we can't all just treat patients who have the financial means to write a check for their dental treatment. And it's a very hard conversation to have about dropping a dental plan when you've been caring for somebody for 20 years.
That's
Uh,
so true.
if you've been taking care of a patient for 20 years, now all of a sudden as other people telling you, I dropped dental insurance, just get out of it. That's tough to do. And I think dental insurance companies have exploited that. They know we don't want to have that conversation. And then when they drop fees or they, create more hoops for us to jump through to get paid, we do it. And they think, well, they didn't drop us, so it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's just that, you know, we still care about, our patient enough that we don't want to have that conversation about no longer taking their dental insurance and turning them out.
Did I miss it? Did you say that so say if a client patient couldn't get the employer to make that switch, could they make a could you all could a dentist set up a payment plan into Paydent that
I
way?
mean, if you don't have insurance, you can just opt out of your dental plan at work and do pay down on your own.
Okay.
You know, but that, and that's the same as it would happen for, but people want dental plans because they want a way for their employer to help them with the expense of dentistry. There's people who say to me frequently, they say, oh, well, this is like that subscription plan at my dentist office. And it's not really like that. I mean, the subscription plans that dentists are creating in their office where, a patient pays a set amount and then gets a discount and stuff, it doesn't give them a way to build up a reserve where they can come in and have it deducted from the balance that they already have, or at least that's not my understanding of how the subscription plans work. And they're also with the subscription plans, there's not really a way for the employer to contribute to the subscription plans that individual dentists are doing. There's not really a way for that to be portable if you're out of town and you need to go see somebody else, and you want to use your dental plan. Uh, that doesn't really work with those subscription plans. I mean, I think there's a place for them and they're valuable, but I see Paydent as something that can disrupt dental insurance. I'd like to see a dental insurance company engaged in a competition against a computer that says you can have whatever you and your dentist agree on, doesn't take your unused money at the end of the year and only uses 5% of your money. I'd like to put an insurance company in a competition against that.
They will never do it. You.
Well, they don't have a choice. If that's an alternative,
uh,
we've got to create that alternative and create that competition.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Because right now they just compete against each other and they're pretty much the same.
Mm.
Uh, it keeps
So
getting worse and worse.
right, right. So if a patient wanted to use Paydent, well, they had Paydent here in the state of Illinois, and for some reason they spend half the year, or they were a snowbird, and they went down to Florida, and they wanted to actually access it there in Florida with
I
the.
don't see why that couldn't work. I mean, you'd have to find a participating dentist down there, but it's like, I don't see why that can't work. The money that you have in your Payden account, 95% of it is your money. I mean, you can close your account and get 95% of your money back out. I mean, we're not going to it won't be super simple to do that because we can't have it where every time somebody needs
Right.
new tires, they go and raid their
Yeah.
Payden
Right.
account. And
Right.
if there's employer-based money and pre-tax money in there, there's going to be a tax consequence to
Oh
pay.
yeah.
But if there's pre-tax money in your Payden account, but I I don't see, it can't be that simple to take the money back out. But the core idea is that 95% of the money is your money. And when you purchase dental insurance with your money every year, 100% of your money becomes 100% the insurance company's money. And then they're in a competition against your dentist to see who can keep more of it. But when the insurance company keeps it, you don't get anything. When the dentist gets it, you get dental treatment. Uh, you know,
Wow. So what I'm thinking now is, so if a client, the dentist in Florida has to be a Paydent member.
yeah,
Okay.
you'd have to be signed up with Paydent. I mean,
Mhm. And
there is, if you're going to use Paydent, if you're going to, I mean, the way I see it, we tested Paydent with about 30 dentists, and where we need to move is we get funding. We need to move to testing with say 300 dentists and 2,000 patients. I'm a dentist and I practiced for years and I'm all ears as far as like how can we improve this? I think that if dentists work together on the early version of Uber was very crude compared to its current iteration, and I think that if we as dentists, you know, I'm sure there's all kinds of ideas and ways that this can be used, ways that this can be improved, how we can make this something that uh, works for the patients and works for us as a profession. Uh, you know, but we have to understand we are building something that has to be able to compete against dental insurance. But if you replace the buildings and people of an insurance company with machines, you end up with a lot lower overhead, and that's more money for treatment. I mean, there's only a so much pie, and the more of it that goes to the dental plan, the less there is available for treatment. And the answer for us, to get more money for dental treatment is to reimagine the system and create a system where the dental plan's portion is much smaller. And the way to do that is with modern technology.
So tell me about the if there are any like regulations that one would have to deal with respect to patent. Is there anything that patent may see down the road that
Well,
you're
the
sure
first big thing is ERISA compliance. And
yeah
I can't tell you off the top of my head what ERISA stands for, but if employers are using pre-tax money,
yeah
uh, they have to, the plan has to be tested for ERISA compliance. Our attorneys have told us there's nothing about patent that should exclude it from ERISA compliance. Um, the uh, it has to be means tested because it's novel. But the money can only be used for dentistry. Healthcare is a covered, a tax deductible expense when it comes through employers and dental plans. And so, the means testing for ERISA compliance is another $200,000 or so, is what we've been told. And uh, but you know, we you know there patent is something that is novel. It has some elements of an HSA, but an HSA doesn't give you an in-network price and doesn't give you oversight of the dentist. I mean, you can put money in an HSA and go to the dentist, uh, but so it does share some aspects of that. And I think in the way that HSAs are regulated, that would be the way that patent ultimately is regulated.
okay and the compliance with respect to dentists uh, that's built into the program as well or will be built into the
Well,
program.
dentists, there is a user's agreement. I mean, I think that some of the problems that are being caused right now in the profession, I think that super low fees create a lot of problems for dentists. Um, you can have situations where, you know, um, I think that most dentists, or the vast majority of dentists, want to practice ethically and for the benefit of their patients. And I think that but the reality is that they also have to be, a viable business too.
Yeah.
And I think that uh, you know, that dentists can get squeezed into bad situations with you know, with fees that don't cover the cost of providing the service.
That's not good.
It's like it's and I think that uh, you know, but I think also there is a responsibility of the dental plan. I think that we can use modern technology, as I've talked about, to monitor the dentist. Patent does generate data. There is
Yeah.
a user's agreement that the dentist signs. I mean, they're going to agree that they're not going to unbundle plans, unbundle procedures, that they're not going to upcode procedures. And, meaning if a dentist is billing every extraction is a surgical extraction, so they get the higher fee, you know, that would be something that would be obvious to the dental plan and be flagged, uh, over time. It also, if we can get to where codes can be explained to patients through the app using AI, where patients can be more educated, because they're the consumer of the care when they have, when they're not losing their unused money every year and they have maybe an incentive to try to save that money for tooth replacement or ortho or something else that they want, as far as being able to care for their teeth.
Hmm. Yeah. This has been an interesting conversation, Dr. Patterson. Um, this is definitely a special. Um, I don't want to say crusade, but it's definitely on the verge of being something that people really need. Not just the dentist, but more importantly, the client needs something
Well,
like this.
another point to make also is that copays and deductibles uh, are an obstacle to getting dental treatment done. And it's an unfair burden for patients with modest incomes.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, Patients with more modest incomes are the burden of copays and deductibles weighs heavier on them. And this is something where, when you have dental insurance and then you can't afford to use the dental insurance, because of the way the plan's designed and the expense of the copays and deductibles, it's
What's the
not
sense in
really a
having it in the
benefit,
first place? My goodness, that is.
but like I say, with Paydent, that's not the case because the money that goes into the Paydent account is available for treatment and there isn't a copay or deductible. It saves the dentist sending statements. There's no stop at the front desk. The treatment is entered in the operatory. The patient signs their name that the work was done. They get up, walk out the door. They're not getting a bill from their dentist that this wasn't covered, that wasn't covered. You don't have to try to estimate what the cost or what the plan's going to pay. You know what the plan's going to pay. Uh, One of the things that the features that we put in when we designed the plan is the dentist can't see how much money is in the patient's paid-in account.
Yeah.
But the dentist can see if there's enough money in the account for the procedure that they want to do. Uh, you know, if it's not going to be the situation where the dentist is going to do a crown and there's only $100 in the patient's paid-in account. Uh, the dentist can see before the procedure is done, you can put the number in, is there enough to do this crown? Yes. Okay, go ahead and do the crown. Or is there enough to do this filling or this cleaning? And it's not perfect. I mean, patients say, well, what if I just put a little bit of money in and then I have to go to the dentist and I have to have all this work done. It's like, well, you're going to have to put more money in, but you need a dental plan over the long haul. And over the long haul, a plan with small overhead beats a plan with really giant overhead. Uh, you know,
Any day of the week. So, do you have like a target date of when you're going to be bringing back Payday? Or
like I say, I'm talking to you. I've started putting stuff on LinkedIn. That's how people have gotten notice to me. I'm friends with Bob D on dentistry in general, and he's let me put some stuff on there about it. People have contacted me,
Sure.
and but I don't have the financing solution, and I'm looking for that. But when people listen to this and they understand it, there are people out there. There is a solution, and there is a way to make this happen. But I can tell you, as we've tried. I mean, the two of us, my partner and I, and we need help. Like I say, I'm interested in anybody's ideas. I do think that there is. I like the idea of dentists owning the dental plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how that works or how that looks. Dentists being the shareholders of the dental plan, but that was a mistake that was made earlier when Delta Dental was created. It was supposed to be by dentists for dentists, but that's morphed into something completely different and pivoted into an opponent of our profession. So, but yeah, so
Yeah, so can you give us like a roundabout figure of what you actually need to really make this happen?
you know, ERISA compliance is a couple hundred thousand
100,000.
dollars. I mean, there's we'd like money to work on Payment 2.0. We need increased cybersecurity. Um, Realistically, I think a couple of $1 million are needed. If I mean, I don't see it happening, with dribs and drabs. It's like
Yeah.
if we're gonna make, but this is our profession, there's an enormous upside to this if it succeeds. And, you know, if dentists own the dental plan, well, you're giving a discount, but you're also owning the dental plan and you can make money on that side. I think this is an opportunity for dentists to get in on the ground floor on something that could be really big. None of us were at Stanford when Google was getting formed, or when some of these other tech companies happened. But this is a big deal. I mean, $100 billion a year market that it's going after, and uh, you know drawing out $30 billion of that, that's currently being burned up in insurance company claims processing and overhead and profit, and redirecting it to dental treatment is huge. It also, we've brainstormed about it. We own the domain name for payvet.com. Everyone who has pets, everybody's pet eventually gets old unless it dies real soon, and you end up at the vet's office, and you really should be budgeting for your pet's health care rather than buying an insurance plan or just paying with your credit card. You should be putting a little money aside all the time for the pet. And if the dog gets hit by a car, or something happens and it just up and dies or whatever, with a pay vet account, you're not losing your money. I mean, 95% of it you can get back. And even into regular healthcare, there are insurable healthcare expenses such as car accidents and brain tumors and things like that. But there are uninsurable aspects to healthcare too, which is regular checkups and mammograms and colonoscopies and things that everybody gets. Those are not insurable things, even though we're using insurance to pay for them. And I see a future where we could be separating out the uninsurable events from the insurable events and budgeting for the uninsurable events rather than purchasing insurance for those, you know.
Yeah, a lot to think about, obviously, and a lot of work to do
I
ahead.
hope a lot of other people think about it too, because I think that's what we need. I think as dentists, we're creative people. We solve problems. We're tinkerers, and this is something that dentists can be thinking about, working on, figuring out how can we improve this? How could we do this? How could this work? Because I just want the thing I want people to do is just take a kind of a paradigm shift on it and look at this problem from another perspective rather than trying to pass another law, another set of rules or whatever. They come up with some other ridiculous thing and then we go pass a law. We've been doing that for years, and it's time to try something else.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dr. Patterson, thank you so much for joining us today. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do so?
Um, they can contact me through LinkedIn. I mean, they can send me an email. They can go to paydent.com, and this a lot of the stuff that's on paydent.com, there's information on it. A lot of it's out of date. A lot of Facebook stuff is out of date. I mean, we've had this idea for a while, and you know, part of the reason that it was shut down was because of the cyber tech, but also because of the expense of keeping it running. All we have is a tested prototype. Uh, we've
You said
had a
30,
tested
30.
prototype that's demonstrated that it could work,
Yeah.
but And we've spent almost $500,000 between my partner and I on it. And, my wife has said no more. So, I'm a dentist. I'm not a billionaire kind of thing, but we need, and like I say, I think that it's something that maybe dentists want to be involved in. And I'm open to any kind of discussion.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining the Wealthy Dentist podcast. And I'm sure at some point we're going to get an answer for all those questions you put.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I deeply appreciate it. And it's great to be able to share some of these ideas with a wider audience.
Totally agree. Thanks again.
The Wealthy Dentist podcast is built on connections, opportunities, and meaningful conversations that help jumpstart careers and boost the ROI on your business. Is there a topic you're passionate about or someone in the dental community who should share their story with us? We want to hear from you. Email your suggestions to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast at gmail.com, and let's create content that informs, inspires, and uplifts the dental world. Your ideas could spark our next big conversation. Let's make it happen. I'm Ward Powell, your host at the Wealthy Dentist Podcast, thanking you for being a part of our journey.